Let's look at some brain and brainstem models. Whoops. I've always been a fan of this weird one. Whoops. You can probably already tell that it's put together kind of like a loaf of bread. Okay, 2 hemispheres. This is anterior view. Here's posterior view, making this cerebellum and making this vermis. This is longitudinal fissure. Okay, here's brainstem peekabooing. So this is probably medulla versus spinal cord. Really, we'd have to see the skull intact to see where foramen magnum lands, okay? Pardon me. But the cool thing about this is the way it's sliced. So the slices are held together via magnets. See those spaces? They kind of look like wings. Those are lateral ventricles. Next slice, see those spaces? Lateral ventricles. Lateral ventricles. In other words, I really feel like this model gives a better representation than some of how very buried the lateral ventricles are. Okay. I don't usually use this particular model on like practica or surveys. I just think it's a little helpful as an introduction. And then here in this inferior view, maybe you can make out a little that's cut infundibulum. Here, boop, 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 boop. Those are the mammillary bodies of the hypothalamus. Okay. But there are certainly other models for us to explore. Case in point. This is just one hemisphere, but it's color-coded such that this is central sulcus. This is precentral gyrus. This is post-central gyrus. Okay, here, lateral sulcus. Here, transverse fissure. Okay, and then all this color coding helps us with our different regions. Primary somatosensory cortex, somatosensory association cortex, for instance. Okay. Primary motor cortex, premotor cortex, for instance. Okay. Pardon me. Here, frontal lobe. Here, parietal. Here, occipital. Here, temporal. Because this is shown in sagittal section, we get to see more stuff. Cerebellum, and those little that's supposed to represent arbor vitae. This space, fourth ventricle. This tube, cerebral aqueduct. Okay. This, that kind of looks like a bridge. Well, it is. This is corpus callosum. Septum pellucidum. Pardon me. Here, cingulate gyrus. Cingulate gyrus. Okay. Here, midbrain, pons, medulla. Oops. Midbrain, pons, medulla. Okay. Here, hypothalamus. Here, thalamus. Here, pineal gland. Going to look very different in one model, or from one model to the next, even from one illustration to the next. Pineal gland. Okay. Right here, just beep, beep. Posterior commissure. Here would be the left superior colliculus. Here would be the left inferior colliculus. Here, doot, doot. Left mammillary body. Okay, infundibulum is cut away. It's removed. Okay. I'm not thrilled about this calcarine sulcus, so I'm not going to point that out on this particular model. And I think we're almost ready to move on. You'll see this often on models, though we're not labeling it yet. That's the olfactory bulb, don't worry about it yet. And that's the optic chiasma, don't worry about it yet. I just don't want you to see something and think, oh, I'm supposed to know that because it's there. Not yet, not yet. I don't think I want to point out anything else on this guy. Okay, this Pinkie Pie, not color-coded, which is actually good for you. Okay. This puzzle comes apart, so some of these lines are actually just definition between puzzle pieces, okay? Whereas this is a good representation here of lateral sulcus. This would be transverse fissure. This would be longitudinal fissure. Okay. Frontal lobes, parietal lobes, occipital lobes, and temporal lobes. I'm touching with either side or either different fingertips, same hand. 2 hemispheres of cerebellum with the vermis in between. Brainstem. Here's medulla. Here's pons. Midbrain, of course, is buried, but we're going to unearth it because this thing comes apart. Okay. I said it comes apart. Actually, before I take it apart, I should probably point out here. Central sulcus. Okay. Notice that part of the occipital lobe is still intact and the temporal lobe is still intact, but now there's this thing revealed. That's an insula. Oh, here's the other one. Here's right. Here's left. Okay. And to give your context back to you, this was sitting. Whoops. This was sitting, I swear it was, here. Peekaboo insula. This was sitting here. Where's the insula? It's hiding. Okay, so we had to take that cerebrum out of our way in order to see insula. Okay, speaking of getting things out of our way, let's see what else I can take off of here. Destroy model. Okay, here's cerebellum. Okay, and there's that bridge, that vermis between the two hemispheres. All of these folds are called folia. Folia. Okay, there's a nice peekaboo at the vermis as well. The bridge, if you will, between the two hemispheres. Okay, and now that we got cerebellum out of the way, maybe We can get the rest of cerebrum out of the way. Cooperate. Ah, cool. Can't put that guy back. All right. This was all attached like this. Okay. And this guy represents, albeit an embarrassingly skinny, corpus callosum. Okay, I'm gonna get that out of the way. This guy here, that's the fornix. That's the fornix. Limbic system. Okay. What's left behind are the two insula. Okay, kind of egg-shaped. Okay, they're kind of taking on that bird head shape. Here's pons. There's medulla. Okay, I can start to see midbrain. Midbrain. Okay. And I have something very similar, just distal to us. Same company, slightly different model. Okay, so see how those are really the same thing? Now they're facing the same way. One is just older than the other. The color is a little different, otherwise they're the same thing. Okay. I need more hands. Where's the part of the brain that makes those? Wow, they're like bug heads. Well, the one in my left hand still has the corpus callosum arching over it, and the one on my right hand no longer has the corpus callosum arching over it. I removed it. Okay? But either way, right insula, left insula. Okie dokie. And the model that this one came out of, or the case, if you will, is here, where the bones are clear. It's kind of cool, huh? Cerebellum's still in there, but I don't need it to be in there. Look, there's one more thing left behind. What is that little pink thing? What is that? What is that little pink thing? Yeah, that's the pituitary gland. What's it sitting in? Sella turcica. And where does it fart? Hypophyseal fossa. Cool. Here's a really sorry excuse here. This little ledge right here. For a Falk's cerebri, sorry. Cerebri. Okay. And there's a little bit of a ledge shown here on my fingertip that kind of represents tentorium cerebelli. But I really don't have a model that clearly shows the three main dural septa. Okay. Now that we've got these guys isolated, right here where my thumb is, and now isn't, where my thumb is, and now isn't. That's fourth ventricle. Okay, and see that guy right there? Here, let's get this corpus callosum out of your way. By the way, this is a fornix again. I'm going to get it out of our way. Okay, I was hugging all of that. Here, this thumb, boop, my fingernail, my thumbnail right here, and here, my thumbnail. Those are pineal glands. We just have one per brain. Okay, and then these four here, corpora quadrigemina. Corpora quadrigemina. Right and left superior colliculi. Right and left inferior colliculi. And again, pineal gland. Just in case. Right and left superior colliculi. Right and left inferior colliculi. Pineal gland. Okay. See this kind of transparent stuff? Transparent stuff. Transparent stuff. Transparent stuff. Those are lateral ventricles. Okay. No wonder they're the same color as this fourth ventricle. No wonder. Okay. Let's start taking these guys apart and see what kind of peekaboos they have to offer. Okay, there's the insula. This is right insula. And I'm taking just the cortex off. Okay. There's left insula. And I'm trying to take just the cortex off. Oh, okay. So the two sides of the model are not the same. They're not the same. Just so that the sculptor could showcase different things, okay? That's not something we need to worry about, but that's the putamen. So immediately within the insula, either insula, whether it's the left or the right, in this case it's the left, but either insula, there's this putamen. And I don't know if it's shown on both sides of this model. There's putamen. Nope. Nope. Okay. Now, when I pick up the putamen, because I take that out off of the puzzle as well, and I flip it over, see that swollen part there? That's globus pallidus. So just deep to putamen. There's putamen back in place. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to flip it over. There's globus pallidus. Okay. All right. Now, these models, just in case you want to see it without the tape on it. See that kind of purpley area? That's globus pallidus. Okay, now these models will allow me to separate the two halves, left and right. Okay, and look what just emerged. Whoa, look at that. What is that? That's the ventricular system. Okay, these two huge guys, those are your lateral ventricles. And just for a hot second right here, beep, and beep. Oops, my hand was in your way, sorry. Beep. Tiny, short tubes. Interventricular foramina. The wall that was sitting between these two, septum pellucidum. And then look when I turn this for the lateral view. Can you see the bird? Do you see the bird's head? There's the eye and the beak. That's the third ventricle. So it's rather wide in the lateral view. It's really skinny in the ventral or dorsal view for that matter. Okay. This tube here that I'm pinching, that's cerebral aqueduct. Let me get out of your way so you can see it. Oh, okay. And then this, that's fourth ventricle. That's fourth ventricle. Okay. And it's almost the opposite of the third ventricle. It's skinny in the lateral view, but much wider in the ventral or dorsal view. And these two little guys, those are lateral apertures. medial or median aperture is here. It's not well distinguished on the model, on either model actually. And then this central canal. Okay, so it's kind of nice to see that ventricular system isolated and also see how it fits with everything else. Okay, now that I took that out and I took my two sort of halves apart, the ventricular system, it was in the way so that I couldn't see these two. Those are the lobes of the thalamus. Here. Very, very deep. And what was sitting between them? Oh my gosh, that looks like a bird's head. Oh my god, that looks like a bird's head. Oh, the third ventricle. Okay. See this little piece of tape that I put on here that says H? The bird's beak? What sits there? Yeah, hypothalamus. Good. Good. This, right? I don't know how to get this into better view for you. Right here is cut infundibulum, and this right here, that pinkie pie, that's left mammillary body. If I put my two halves back together, oh yeah, there's the infundibulum cut, and there are the two mammillary bodies. Coolio? Pretty good stuff. Now you'll notice there's other stuff on here that I just didn't label. That's because you don't need to know it. If it's not labeled, I didn't assign it. Okay. Let's see, what else can we do while we're here? We can better see, obviously, with everything else stripped away, the midbrain, right? The pons and medulla. And then all these little white stringy things, those are just cranial nerves. Different chapter. No stress yet about those, okay? Now, I think it's just as useful to pull the puzzle apart as it is to put the puzzle back together, okay? But there is one thing that I forgot to point out. So this is putamen, right? But this guy, whoosha, 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 very C-shaped. That's the caudate nucleus. It's shown on this side, it's not shown on that side. Whoosha, 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 whoosha. Okay. Putamen, caudate nucleus. And if I pick the whole shebang up and flip, there's globus pallidus. All together, basal nuclei. So I have half of the basal nuclei in my hand. Okay? Anywho, taking it apart, I think is just as helpful as putting it back together. All right, so there's my bird head. I'm going to line that up with this bird head inside the thalamus. I'm going to line it up with this bird head, also buried within the thalamus. Okay, and now my ventricles are back in place. All right, one thing I always have a hard time fitting in here at the right time is the fornix. So bear with me. You're supposed to be a little... Yeah, because you're watching, I can't possibly figure it out. Yeah, there was. Where did it go? There was a wee somewhere around here. Oh, I remember. Okay. So fornix is now back in position. Wrap snapping back toward that mammillary body. Okay. This is corpus callosum. That is septum pellucidum. And I'm gonna snap that in here. Okay. Now I'm missing my right insula and my left insula, and now my brainstem and diencephalon are all, whoops, back intact. So that this one looks again like this one that we didn't take all the way apart. Okay. Good times. Love it.